All right, check this out.
Okay.
I sent us this research paper, TokenFlow, Unified Image Tokenizer for Multimodal Understanding and Generation.
Wow.
So we're going deep into AI today.
Sounds good.
How AI is learning to, like, see, understand, and even create images, right?
Yeah.
And this paper, they're saying they kind of cracked the code with a new method called TokenFlow. Interesting.
Yeah, what's really exciting about TokenFlow is it takes on this challenge that's been kind of a pain for AI researchers for a long time.
Yeah.
How do you build a system that can both understand what an image means and generate images with incredible accuracy?
So up until now, AI could either be like a great art critic
Right.
or like a fantastic artist, but not both at the same time.
Exactly. If you think about it, like understanding an image requires you to grasp the context, the relationships between the objects, the overall meaning, like what we call the semantic level.
Okay.
But generating an image, that requires focusing on the fine details, the textures, the pixel level arrangements.
Right. It's like two totally different skill sets.
And TokenFlow brings these two worlds together. How does it do that?
It uses this really brilliant dual codebook architecture. It's almost like having two specialized brains.
Okay.
One for understanding the meaning.
So like recognizing a furry creature with pointy ears is a cat.
Exactly.
Right.
And then another brain for capturing all those tiny details that actually make up that image down to the individual pixels.
Okay, two brains are better than one.
Right.
But how do these two brains work together?
That's the key. Both of these codebooks,
Right.
the semantic one and the pixel level one, they use the same set of tokens. So it's like a universal language for images where each word or token can represent both a concept like cat
Okay.
and the visual features that make up a cat in a picture.
It's like teaching AI to see the world through a set of super descriptive, like, building blocks that capture both the meaning and the visual essence of things.
That's a great way to put it. This shared mapping,
Yeah.
that's the genius of TokenFlow. It lets the two brains communicate and collaborate seamlessly, and you get some really impressive results.
So give us the numbers. Like, how much better is TokenFlow than what we had before?
The results are incredible. In tests where the AI had to understand images and answer questions about them, TokenFlow beat the leading model by a significant margin,
Like how much?
over 7% on average.
Whoa, that's a big jump. It seems like AI is getting a lot smarter about how it processes images.
It really is. And it's not just about understanding. TokenFlow is also like a rock star when it comes to image generation.
Right.
It got a state-of-the-art score in tests where the quality of AI-generated images was judged. And it did all this while needing way fewer steps than previous methods.
So it's faster and more accurate. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Wow.
But there's one more interesting thing about this.
Okay.
The researchers experimented with different sizes for their code books.
Okay.
Think of it like having a box of Legos.
Yeah.
The more bricks you have, the more complex and detailed your creations can be, right?
So does that mean a bigger code book always leads to better results?
Well, not exactly. They found that while larger code books did boost performance, especially in understanding tasks, there's a point where it gets kind of tricky,
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like having too many choices can sometimes make things harder,
Yeah.
even for AI.
Exactly. With these larger code books, the generation process where the AI actually creates the image, it became less precise.
Huh.
It's kind of like having an artist with a million paint colors.
Right.
They might struggle to create a cohesive and aesthetically pleasing image,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's like a sweet spot for code book size.
Right.
But even if those mega-sized code books are a little tricky for generation, they still have a huge upside for understanding images.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Larger code books, they gave TokenFlow a much richer vocabulary for understanding images. Think of it this way. The more words you know, the better you can describe what's happening in a picture, right?
Right. You could go beyond just saying, there's a cat.
Exactly.
You could describe the breed, its posture, its emotions.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards.
And this richer understanding, it's crucial for complex AI tasks, like answering questions about an image, understanding the relationships between objects,
Right.
or even predicting what might happen next in a video.
So this dual codebook system, with its clever shared mapping, seems like a real breakthrough.
Yeah.
But wasn't there a whole other issue with AI models that tried to do both understanding and generation?
Uh-huh.
Weren't they incredibly difficult and time-consuming to train?
You're right.
Yeah.
A lot of previous models required starting from scratch with massive data sets and training them for days or even weeks.
Yeah.
But TokenFlow kind of sidesteps that whole problem.
So it's like it can build on what AI has already learned rather than having to reinvent the wheel every time.
Exactly. The researchers, they were able to achieve these incredible results with TokenFlow using existing training data and methods, which makes it much more practical for real-world applications.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It means we might see these TokenFlow-powered AI systems making their way into our lives sooner rather than later.
Right.
Speaking of which, let's talk about some of those real-world applications.
Okay.
What are some areas where TokenFlow could really shine?
Well, one area I think TokenFlow could have a huge impact is in developing more sophisticated image editing tools. Imagine being able to edit an image not just by manipulating pixels, but by actually changing its semantic content.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So instead of just cropping a photo or adjusting the brightness, you could tell the AI, make this sunset more dramatic or replace this tree with a flowering bush.
Exactly.
That's wild.
TokenFlow's ability to link visual details with semantic meaning could make those kinds of edits possible.
That would be incredible. Yeah. It would be like having a super-powered photo editor that actually understands what you want to achieve.
Right.
What about in fields like medical imaging?
Yeah.
Could TokenFlow help there too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Imagine an AI system that can not only detect anomalies in medical scans, but also generate hypothetical images showing what a tumor might look like as it grows or shrinks in response to different treatments.
Wow, that would be a game changer for diagnosis and treatment planning.
Totally.
This technology has the potential to revolutionize so many different fields.
Yeah.
It's really exciting to think about.
It really is. And the best part is we're only just scratching the surface of what TokenFlow and similar technologies might be capable of.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
I think we've explored the key points of this paper pretty thoroughly.
We have.
But maybe before we wrap things up completely, it might be helpful to touch on some of the limitations of TokenFlow and areas for future research. You know, there's always room for improvement, right?
Of course. No technology is perfect.
Right.
And understanding the limitations is just as important as celebrating the breakthroughs.
So what are some of those limitations? Is there anything about TokenFlow that researchers are still hoping to improve?
Well, one thing the research points out is that while TokenFlow is great at bridging that gap between understanding and generation, there's still a little bit of a performance difference compared to using separate specialized models for each task.
It's a bit like the saying, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
TokenFlow is really good at both understanding and generation.
Right.
But maybe not quite as exceptional as a model that only focuses on one or the other.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
For example, in some really tough tests of AI's ability to understand images, TokenFlow, while it got top-tier results for its type, it still lagged a little bit behind models that used a different approach to processing that visual information.
Okay, that makes sense. TokenFlow is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It is.
So there are bound to be areas where it can be refined.
Right.
What are some things researchers might focus on to close that gap?
One promising area they're exploring is adding in more sophisticated text alignment techniques during that tokenization process.
Okay.
You know, right now, TokenFlow mainly relies on visual similarity when grouping those digital Lego bricks together.
But adding a layer of text-based understanding would be like giving those bricks labels, right?
Exactly.
So instead of just red brick, it could be red brick part of a fire truck.
Right.
Or red brick part of an apple.
Exactly. That extra context could make a big difference, especially for tasks that involve complex reasoning about the relationship between images and text.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So by aligning the tokens with both visual and textual information, TokenFlow could become even more powerful.
Exactly.
Okay. What about on the generation side?
Yeah.
Any areas for improvement there?
One challenge with AI image generation that's kind of ongoing is controlling the level of detail and realism.
Okay.
TokenFlow does a really good job at generating high-quality images.
Yeah.
But there's always room for improvement in capturing those really fine, intricate details.
So like making those images even more photorealistic.
Yeah.
Or being able to tell the AI exactly how much detail to include.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's where exploring new and improved decoder architectures could be key.
Right.
Remember, the decoder is the part of the system that takes those tokens and turns them back into a visual image.
So by tweaking the decoder,
Yeah,
they could unlock even more impressive levels of detail and realism in the generated images.
that's the idea.
This has been a really cool deep dive.
It has.
TokenFlow seems like a real game changer in the world of AI.
Yeah.
It's amazing how it's breaking down those traditional walls between understanding and generating images.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And what's really exciting is that we're still in those early stages of this unified approach. As researchers keep exploring these techniques and refining them, who knows what amazing new AI capabilities we'll discover.
It's an exciting time to be following all this stuff.
It is.
Now, here's something to think about as we wrap up our deep dive.
Okay.
If AI can now understand and generate images with this level of sophistication, what does that tell us about the nature of creativity? Is it something that's uniquely human?
Right.
Or can machines actually learn to be creative as well?
That's a great question. And one that'll probably be debated for a long time.
Right.
Maybe the real breakthrough won't be just in how AI creates, but in what it inspires us to create ourselves.
Will said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into TokenFlow. It's been a really fun journey.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I can't wait to see what breakthroughs are next.
Me too.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those sources coming. We'll be here to help you dive deeper.